All right, well, guys, we are live. Very first podcast.
I'm so excited for this.
Level Up podcast?
Now, guys, let's be real here, though. Like, we have been working on this for feels like a month or two.
Ever.
Just trying to get everything situated. This has been, fucking difficult as hell. Seriously, I mean, we spent probably, a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of hours, too, trying to hook things up. And
Yeah.
So, you viewers, I hope you guys actually like this podcast, because this was a pain in the butt to set up. I feel like for this first podcast, we should kind of just, introduce ourselves. All right. So, Spencer, do you want to go first, bro?
Yes. My name is Spencer. Grew up in Park City, Utah. I've always been a Utahn. And I started a construction business doing cleanup and dump trailers.
Mm-hmm.
I also do real estate investing. Just started, but we're learning and growing that. We'll see where that goes.
I'll take it next. My name's Kira. I'm Christian's partner. I'm also an options trader. And I'm thinking about starting a business. It's rental arbitrage. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but I'm excited to get into that.
Explain it to them, because they probably don't know.
Yeah, so basically I want to start a business where I go out to rentals and people that are leasing their apartments, and I see if they'll let me turn it into almost like a vacation spot or an Airbnb, and I rent out the unit and then rent it out for a higher price to my customers. So that's what I'm working on currently.
It is a cool project.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah, my name is Christian, and I am actually a realtor here in Utah. And business has been okay for me. I mean, I've gotten
It's been good.
It's been good. I got a listing right now. We're about to go under contract tomorrow, and today's September 30th, so because they're probably gonna release it later.
Yeah.
But I've also had a buyer too, so I mean, I feel like I'm doing pretty good as a realtor.
Yeah.
And,
Yes, you are.
I'm planning on investing in some real estate probably in a year or two, and yeah, that's me though.
See where it goes, huh?
Yeah, we'll see where it goes, man. How long have you been doing construction though? Because it's been, because you've been doing construction your whole life, but why a construction business is not I don't know,
It's not the first thing that people normally think of doing.
that's what I'm saying. It's not
Which
the
I think
first
is
thing
cool.
people do. Yeah.
Yeah. So since I've been doing construction my whole life, that's kind of where the idea came from. That's all I've been doing. That's all I know. I like working with my hands, hands-on type projects, And I was actually running snowcats at Deer Valley when my uncle came up. He's like, let's get on this, So we did, right? As the season ended in May,
Mm-hmm.
we got a truck, we got all our licensing done, and we started it. And that's the hardest part, I think, with any type of business is to start.
Yeah.
So I did it because that's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So would you say that starting a business and the more you get into it, the harder it is to run it? Or would you say the opposite? Starting it is the hardest thing, and then once you're in it, it's more of a flow.
I think there's different levels. Yeah. So when you start it, it definitely is hard because you don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that definitely takes a toll on your mental state.
Yeah.
But to get through that kind of stuff, knowing that there's always going to be problems and things you don't know throughout the whole process, because the process never ends. There's always different stuff that pops up. I think it doesn't get easier. It gets harder. It's just different problems. At the start, you're trying to figure out the basic steps of business, and you get a little bit more into it, you start to realize other problems, payroll and insurance, employees.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big one. And
Finding good employees too.
yes, yeah. And so I think it gets harder, but the problems are so much different that I think you're just gonna have to face them when they come.
What's the goal, bro? What's the end goal in construction? Are you planning on doing construction forever? Is this a business you're trying to grow to become huge, or are you planning on doing this for a little bit and then go into something else?
That's a great question. I think my goal for this construction business is to get it to a $10 million business, and that will be my staple income to then invest in real estate.
That's a great goal.
Yeah. If I can grow that, which will take time, of course. Then I can use that as income for other things and then expand.
So the goal isn't to be in construction forever. The goal is to kind of make that passive eventually, or you?
Well, I think if I own that business, if I get it to where someone else is kind of running it, where I don't have to do that dirty work anymore, then I don't think it'd be a problem keeping it. I for sure think real estate investing has big opportunities for my goals and what I want to achieve in life. So if I'm doing construction now, we'll see where that goes, and then we'll see where real estate investing goes. So,
I feel like real estate investing is where the most money is, where the most opportunity to do other things is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
kind of what everybody wants is a piece of real estate, for sure.
The thing is, though, so that's why I became a realtor in the first place, is because I became a realtor so I can learn about real estate, and then once I know enough about it and I make enough income from being a realtor, then put that money into becoming an investor. And the end goal for me is to become an investor. But what a lot of people don't know is that real estate is where you just build wealth. It doesn't get you the mansion. It doesn't get you the Lamborghinis. It's just a place to store money. So it's kind of like a bank account that doesn't go down in value ever. And it does very low risk. It's literally just a place to store value. And you can make money and invest in real estate, but not as an investor. So you can make money in real estate by flipping homes or turning a commercial building profitable. That's how you make money and get rich in real estate.
Oh, interesting.
But you don't build wealth.
I feel like most people would think that the wealth in that is being an investor. Why would you say that being the opposite of that is where the real money is?
So when you're flipping a home, you buy a home, you literally keep it for a month, and you have a general contractor make it look better than it was previously. Meaning you got on a pretty big discount because there were things wrong with the property in the first place. So by doing that, you then flip it. That's what the term is. You flip the property, make it look nice, you sell it for a profit after paying all expenses and the general contractors. It's obviously a lot more difficult than that, but when you flip it, I'll give you an example. There's a buddy that I know, he's a mentor of mine named Aram. He just flipped the property a month or two ago, I believe, and he made $60,000 in 1 month.
Would you say that flipping a home is more valuable, would make you more money than, let's say, what most people do? They rent out their homes. They buy a property, and then they just rent it out so they don't have to deal with anything else. What would you say brings you the most value?
It depends the end goal. So if your end goal is to maintain your wealth, meaning not have it lose in the stock market, or not, let's say you have a lot of money in your bank account, over $100,000, you need a place to put that money so it doesn't lose to inflation. Because keeping money in the bank account, you're losing it to inflation. If your goal is just to park money somewhere so it doesn't lose value over time, you put it into real estate. And that's where you do the rentals and the buying a home, turning it into a rental, that kind of thing. That's where you store wealth. But if you're wanting to make money, like physical cash, you either become a realtor, a real estate flipper, or do Airbnb or rental arbitrage. That's where you build actual physical cash to put in the bank account.
What about when people say cash flow? What about that?
What's cash flow?
Yeah, basically explain what cash flow is.
Cash flow is let's say we have a triplex, so it's 3 units in one building. If we buy that 3 triplex, we're going to have a mortgage on it, and we're going to have expenses. So after the mortgage and the expenses, however much we have, so let's say we're paying $5,000 in expenses just to make it easy, including the mortgage. Let's say we're renting out those 3 units in the triplex for $2,000 each. So it's 3 units, so 2,000 times 3, 6,000. Our expenses are $5,000, so we cash flowing $1,000, and that's how cash flow works.
Gotcha.
Cool. Yeah, so I feel like the whole point of this podcast that I really love about this concept is that we're really, it's the name, level up. We're really trying to talk about the things that are important, the things that we're looking towards, and how we're trying to grow in ourselves. What are you guys most excited for in getting into conversation for this podcast?
I'm excited to, honestly, we're going to have a lot of great conversations, in my opinion. We're going to have a lot of great conversations. Because, even without the camera and the mic, we have great conversations.
We do have awesome conversations.
Really good conversations, So For me, I'm excited for all the conversations, of course, that we're going to have, because we're going to have some debates, some arguments here and there, and that's okay. That's part of the game. But like what I'm excited for is that we're filming our progress and like kind of what we're doing in our business and ourselves and like as human beings. But 10 years down the line, if we do this podcast every week or every 2 weeks, whatever, imagine being 10 years later and looking back at our very first episode today.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, holy crap. Like, and I'm excited to kind of like look back and be like, damn, like we really came a long way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most excited for.
I'm excited for the relationships that I'm going to have.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking now, what can we be in 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Just as you say. We're going to get a lot of value. We're going to get a lot of feedback. And the biggest part is just learning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're literally leveling up. Like, each podcast, everything we do, we're just going to be that much more ahead.
And sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
And I feel like doing this podcast, we can talk about it. And ideas come up. And values come up. Everything comes up when you talk to someone about things. So I feel like being surrounded by good group of people will help you level up faster.
And different people too. I feel like we're
Different,
interested in very different things that will give more of value to the people watching us.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about like how we're starting at a specific point with this podcast and we have an end goal here. Having our viewers see us from this start, the beginning of what we're trying to go towards, which is really the beauty in this podcast.
And at the beginning of our journey.
Literally.
We started a construction business, you're starting a rental arbitrage, real estate, what can that turn into? You know, and it's good we're starting this from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So literally people can watch this and listen to us from the start.
We're coming here. We are filming every Saturday for as long as it takes to get each episode out. And that's what's the most important. We're starting from the ground up, and we hope that this brings some sort of value to the people out there that are trying to get to the same level that we are.
I think they should know like what level are we even trying to get to. Like I kind of just said what I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
So like I want to be like that Grant Cardone. I don't even really look up to Grant Cardone. Like I don't even really like the guy that much, but like I want to get to that kind of status. Like he's a cool guy, but I don't really like stay in tune with him, you know. But I want to get to that kind of status, that level of like wealth and success. Like that's what I'm trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
But like Spence, what level is that level for you? Because I know you said you want to get to 10 million in construction.
But what's like the goal? Like
Well, I think there's obviously different levels, right?
Yeah.
What I want is huge. And we take it in small steps. So like, what can I get this construction business to? I think the biggest thing for most people is they want financial independence, and that's what I would want. You know, like you don't have to worry about the price tag. You don't have to worry about if your kids are going to eat, if your family's going to eat, if you can pay your rent, you know? And the goal I'm going to get to is $100 million a year. That's what I want to do. I want to build some kind of business, some kind of, even if it's in real estate investing or the construction business, like who knows? We're at the beginning. But yeah, I want to be making $10 million a month. That would be awesome. That's like the biggest goal I have. I want to be flying in private jets with you guys going all over the world. You know? I want that kind of stuff. And to get there, we got to learn and do all these small steps, all these micro changes and improvements. So I think right now, the goal is financial independence. Grow this business.
And that's the same for you too.
I like what you said too about taking it step by step, because I think for me at least, I'm the type of person that if I have 5 different goals at the same time, I get too overwhelmed and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do all of these things at once. So I try to focus on one thing at a time. So what's the goal today? Let's say $500 or $1,000. That's my only goal. No rental arbitrage, no anything else. The job that I'm working, this is the goal for that day. And so I really appreciate what you said about like taking it step by step. But yeah, I would say for me, the end goal, that's hard, because I feel like too, we're changing and we're evolving growing into who we are.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's important to us right now specifically is money, is, financial freedom. But I think for me, obviously, who doesn't want that? But the goal for me really is to be able to have a family that I can do everything and anything for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
And it is enjoying the process.
Yeah,
too, right?
and
It's enjoying the process. So.
meeting new people and
Yeah.
having fun with new people. So.
Right. Well, guys, to counter that though, there's a lot of people who would say like, well, why do you want to be rich? Like, you shouldn't want to be rich. Like you should just be living like the average life. Like, what's wrong with making $50,000 a year, or what's wrong with only making $100,000 a year or $30,000 a year? And I'll start off by this. Like, we all have our own opinion, but I'll start off by kind of saying like, there's nothing wrong with making $30,000 to $50,000 a year. Like, if that's your goal and you're happy with that, I think that's fine. If you're happy making $50,000 a year, that's fine. But me personally, I don't really want to make $50,000 a year. I don't want to live that lifestyle. Like, I want to make much more than that. Much more than that.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I want to touch on too is like what we're doing this for. I think we can get so caught up in finding value in being rich, but I think there's no point of, to me at least, from my point of view, I feel like you guys could feel differently, but there's no point in having so much wealth and having so much financial freedom without having some sort of family or someone to spend
with.
to enjoy it with, and so that's really what I try to focus on, instead of just like, I want to be rich as fuck. Like, I try to focus on, look, I want to do this for my family. I want to be able to have this life with my family, and so that's kind of how I view it. But I definitely,
I agree with that.
yeah.
I listened to a podcast the other day by Ed Milet.
Love that guy.
Legend,
He's so
Legend.
cool. Yeah.
And he was telling me about if he didn't sacrifice and do the things he had to do the day to get to where he is now, he wouldn't be able to help his sister. Because I don't know if you guys know, but his sister went blind, and then he happened to be in the state he is now and live in a neighborhood where he lives now with huge people, huge names, and his neighbor was an eye doctor. And he cured his sister's eyes because she went blind.
And it's literally, if he didn't go after his dreams and goals to get to that rich neighborhood, because like,
Yeah.
if you guys don't know what Ed Milet is, this guy's like a billionaire, I'm pretty sure, multi-hundred millionaire. He literally has a private island. He does very well for himself. But if he didn't move himself into that neighborhood, he would have never met the eye doctor.
And it never would have helped his sister.
Right across the
if
street.
If he wasn't a multi-hundred millionaire or whatever, he wouldn't know the people he knows to help his family.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you get to that certain level, especially when people respect you and the things you do for them, I feel like it opens new opportunities to help the people around you. You know, we want to help people. We want to be there for everybody who's been there for us and people that don't know us, you know?
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah. I kind of want to change courses now. I kind of want to talk about this other topic that I have been kind of thinking about. The question was, what's more important, God, family, or your vision? And by vision, I mean like your dreams and your goals. And like, how do you balance life? And I kind of want to hear your guys' perspectives first. And then I'll kind of chip in my kind of word. But Spence, I kind of already know where you stand by this because I did like an Instagram post about it.
Yeah.
And you voted. So, but explain your reasoning for this.
Yeah. So
God, what's first? God, the vision, or family?
And it could not
And, like,
be
what's the
God or
order?
your vision or your family. Like,
Right.
what are your three
Like top three
values?
my top threes are those things.
Okay.
So God, family, vision, definitely. Vision
In that
goals.
order? Or is it a different order?
No, just those top three things. I guess we can start out with God. I haven't really been around that type of stuff in my life, so I can't really say I believe or don't believe. What I do is I thank Him for all the problems I have, and that's gratitude. And I'd say that's huge. You know, humbling yourself, saying thank you for the problems we have and not asking for stuff, you know?
Do you believe in heaven and hell?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the vision would be next.
So God, vision, okay, and then family.
So vision can be a lot of things for different people, right? The vision for me is the goals I have and the self-improvement, like the best version of myself. And I feel like if you can't help yourself, how are you going to help other people?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and putting yourself first, it may seem like selfish, you know, but in reality, it's like, that's why they tell people on planes, don't put your kid's mask on first, put yours on, so then you can help them.
Yeah.
So I feel like in the stages where we're at now, we have to put ourselves first, so then later we can help other people. That's why my vision is second, and then family is third. Don't get me wrong, family is not less important than the other two. You know, it's really big, but certain things you have to do to get to where you want to be. I feel like I have to sacrifice a lot of family time to get these goals.
Absolutely.
And it is for a good cause. It is for a good cause to help them in the future. You know, I want to be able to help my family and their family, you know, my kids' kids in the future.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my standing.
Okay. That's cool. So, Kira, me and you had a really long conversation about this topic, actually.
Yes, we did.
Now,
we had a long conversation.
Very long conversation. It got a little heated, so we had to take a little pause. So, I think you kind of know where I stand on this.
I do.
And I don't want you to kind of like say it for me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm going to say it better. But I want to hear your side.
Yeah.
On this.
Yeah.
And
I think conversations like these are really good too, especially in a private relationship. The way that I would put my top three, probably God. I actually do not have a connection with religion that well, or with God in general, but I do want my kids, my future kids, to know like that there is a God and He judges us based on the things that we do in life, good or bad. Like being kind is important to other people, and
Karma is real.
yeah. So I would say God first.
Okay, but when you move on, so when you say you don't have a good relationship with God or whatever, do you mean like you don't go to church, or do you mean you just don't really believe in God that much?
I don't go to church.
Okay,
I don't
but you
pray.
do believe in God.
Yes, I do believe
And you
in God.
believe in God, Spence?
Sure.
Okay, so we all believe in God here.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
I do
continue.
believe in God. And then I would put second my personal relationship. I would put my partner second. And then,
So would you say that's family?
no,
Oh,
I would say you, and then my vision, and then my family. Yeah, so that's how I would put it.
wow. Okay. So for me, Kira, we had a really long conversation about this, and it got a little heated. But for me, I don't view them as this is number one, this is number two, this is number three. I view them all as important, and they're all kind of like in their own tier.
Yeah, which I agree with.
They're all in their own
I
group
agree
of
with that
importance.
too.
And let me kind of explain why I do it like this. Because if God was most important to me, I would not be right here right now making a podcast. Because right now, this is my vision. This would be work. This is my dream. I'm working on my dreams right now, making content to achieve my dreams. So right now, technically, I'm putting my vision as number one.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Where if I was putting God or family as number one, if I was putting God as number one, I wouldn't be here. I'd be a prophet or something.
We'd be at church.
I'd be in church right now praying.
Praising
Like that's
Jesus.
what I'd be praising Jesus if that was my number one thing. Where if it was family was number one, right? I would be putting my family, and I'd be hanging out with my family right now instead of doing this podcast, right? So I think of it as like, it depends on what is most important. So like to give you an example, we're making this podcast right now. But if I had a child, and it was my child's birthday today, fuck the podcast. I'm not doing the podcast. I'm going to go hang out with my child. Because that to me would be more important. My child's birthday, his 6th birthday, there's only going to be one 6th birthday.
Right.
Where we can do the podcast literally anytime.
Yes.
Right? So I would choose my child's birthday over this podcast right now if I had a child. Right? But since we're doing the podcast right now, or I had the opportunity to go home and go do something else, to me, well, the podcast would be more important right now because it's not like I have anything else to do. So let's do something productive. So right now, at this very moment, my vision is my number one priority because that's what we're doing at the moment. Sorry guys, but the podcast got cut a little short by 2 minutes. The camera only films in 30-minute intervals, so we had a little bit of an issue. But you only missed 2 minutes, but we're going to be starting another podcast next Saturday, so we'll see you then.